streaming, start recording. It's not the stream process I'm looking for here. Hello, if you can hear me, we're tinkering because this is different. So give me one moment. Okay, there we go. Hello, everyone who's popping in. I don't have flavor music off the top of my head here, but we should be getting started in just a moment, and it will be worth it. I am in costume. Let me find some Game Grooves music. I say again, let me find some Game Grooves music while I verify we are streaming well. Which Game Grooves album do I have masters for at the ready? Danger. Alrighty. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the stream. Welcome to Game Grooves' latest listening party. Please let me know if you can hear me, see me. Ignore my haphazardly attached tie here. This is a flaw with the suit. But thank you to Colby for letting me keep this here, knowing fully well that I'm just going to keep doing stuff like this. We have... Oop, we're good. Okay. No worries. I have my wonderful friend Ian Martin here to help me behind the scenes. But first of all, hello, everybody. Seriously, it's been a while since we had a listening party. Our last one was on Twitch. We're trying it out on YouTube, and we're also trying it out on my YouTube channel because I happen to co-direct this particular album. So sincerely appreciate everyone kind of being flexible with the new kinds of formats. Game Grooves has been around for a long time, but we've changed quite a lot. So I think it's important to just thank everybody for being really up for it. I see so many friendly faces, many of which are on the album. Rusty, Max, Anthony. I see more and more friends who are just nearby. I see Zelda Rocks, and we also see some of our friends like Mega Mixtape, Acapella, and so many more. Then again, good to see all of you. I hope you're all having a wonderful Saturday, be it morning, evening. I don't know. There's only two kinds of times of day. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to listen to Konged Loose, our brand new Game Grooves progressive metal, modern metal, Donkey Kong themed album. It's been in works for probably 3.5 to 4 months. It's been talked about for years. This is one of Alan Brash's and my brainchilds that left over and kind of kept on going because it's such a cool idea. But we're not just going to listen to it. We're also going to have a little bit of fun, some interviews in between the music as well. And on top of all of that, as many of you know, Game Grooves hosts a show I call Spicy Gamers. It is a very original, unique idea where I interview game music, artists, and composers and so on while enjoying spicier food. So I thought it would be appropriate to have a little challenge, and thank you to Allison Martin for prepping our wheel here. We're going to be playing Donkey Kong Country as we listen to this amazing album. And if I die, I need to eat a bite of progressively hotter and hotter and hotter slices of banana. So the first one, there's a cute little arrow here. First one is sriracha, then my own homemade fermented habanero sauce, trombone sauce as I call it. And then we have Chairman Meow, which is a scorpion pepper sauce. And then we have Onima, which is also like a ton of habaneros and I think koji. So it's like a special fermenting type. And then we just have freaking the bomb evolution. So hopefully I won't have to ingest these and I'll get good. But nonetheless, just a little bit of fun to enjoy Donkey Kong, enjoy the music that's gone into these. And then in between, we're going to listen to maybe 2 or 3 songs at a time. And I will have them introduce themselves or I will introduce some of the songs. And yeah, we'll interview some of the people who are popping in on OBS Ninja. If you're on this album, hopefully we'll hear from you. If you're in chat, sound off. Celebrate everybody. They put in so much love and work into this. And this is, I'm so biased. This is one of the best albums I've ever seen put together by the community. We did not accept our usual for this. There was a lot of feedback, a lot of trading. I sent my track out to people constantly. We had live drums, processing, pre-processing. So it's truly special. I'm going to stop talking now and get on with presenting some of the songs. We're going to listen to a few tracks here, and I'm going to actually pull up the Bandcamp just so I get every single morsel of credits correctly here. So we're going to listen to the first 3 tracks of this album, and we have some videos of people introducing them, and afterwards we're going to speak with, at the very least, one of these artists. So I'd like to introduce the first track here. We have Chernabog, Welcome to Crocodile Isle. This is the opening kind of menu music, map music from Donkey Kong Country 2, which is my personal favorite, of course, and it features Na Tony as well. And then we lead right into Na Tony's Fear Factory from Donkey Kong Country 1. And then we're going to listen to Lockjaw Saga, one of my favorites by Zelda Rocks. And and this is also off of DKC2. And then we'll hear from them. So I'm gonna switch over, and hopefully this should work well. And we're gonna say hello and be introduced to these tracks.
Hi everyone, Alex aka Chernobog here. I covered the track Welcome to Crocodile Island for the Game Groove album KONGED. So my favorite Donkey Kong game would be the OG Donkey Kong on the Game Boy, the one when you play as Mario and try to rescue a girlfriend from Donkey Kong. I put hundreds of hours in that game when I was a kid. The gameplay was very interesting at the time and the music was great. So I think that King K. Rool likes to say he listens to the most extreme, hardcore metal band you can think of. But in reality, we all know that he cries while listening to ASMR in his cabin all alone. You cannot convince me otherwise. Thanks to Ro and Drew and everyone at Game Groove for the album production. I hope you enjoy my track and the rest of the album. See ya!
Hi, I'm not Tony, and I made a cover of Fear Factory for the new Game Grooves album, Kong Loose, which is a Donkey Kong metal album. Which member of the DK crew would you want to be in your band? I think I'd have Cranky Kong, because he does some crazy turntable stuff in the DK rap, and that could be like some cool new metal thing, like new metalcore type of thing. I think that would be pretty cool. What do you think King K. Rool listens to on his ship ride? I think he listens to classic rock, just like straight up, because he's like, you know, he's got that dad bod. I feel like that's kind of his vibe. Like he's like a father figure to the Kremlings, and he just keeps trying to show him AC/DC, and they don't care. Like they're just going to like hardcore shows and just crowd killing and stuff. Like, dude, if you get in that pit, like you're gone. There's no way you're surviving that. It's like getting into like a pit of crocodiles. The most surprising thing about working on Kong Loose is that I managed to not make my cover 13 minutes long.
Just because we're getting started here, I'm gonna kind of quickly let everyone know that we'll play some Q&As here as well, so that might be what you're seeing. So now let's take a listen to the first 3 tracks of the album, and here we go. Oh, and I'm going to play Donkey Kong, and if I die, I have to eat hot things. Okay, I think only y'all can hear me for this. Nope, never mind. All right, I'm gonna pull you in, Xander. Okay. Let's do that. Wait. All right. Should be able to hopefully.
All right.
So yeah, we just took a listen to 3 tracks, and I'll probably talk about them in reverse order here because actually, okay, let's go in reverse order because I also see that we have Anthony in there too. I didn't realize I have to scroll down. So first of all, congrats on being on this album. Fantastic job arranging, thinking, plotting, editing, working, and putting this together, as well as your partner. What did you think when you saw Konged Loose as like Game Grooves is doing a Donkey Kong album? Like, what went through your head?
That was that I misread the album announcement, just thought it said Donkey Kong Metal, and I was like, hell yeah, I love Iron Maiden. I'm gonna do such a good Iron Maiden cover of Flight of the Zinger. And then it was like, yeah, it's actually modern metal. I was like, the most modern I've listened to is Gojira, so I need to do some research.
Sure.
And I've listened to so much 2010s and 2020s metal in the past 3 months because of that, and like, it's been awesome. Even if I hadn't done a song, I was like, it's expanded my listening.
That's awesome. What got you to want Lockjaw Saga specifically?
So part of it was that my partner plays flute, and like I just had this vision of like starting with like a more, I guess, like oceany, like sea type song with that flute intro. I was actually inspired by that by the Beast in Black song Ocean Deep that starts with a lot of like acoustic instruments on like a cliffside type setting. Cool. And part of it was just I never hear anyone cover that, and specifically in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, there's a remix at like double speed with all those extra bits when you're being chased by a giant octopus. And I was like, someone has to cover that version. So that's the double time that you hear, or it's not double, but like increased tempo you hear later in the song is based on that.
It's funny because I think I'm so Nintendo pilled in the way that when you do double time, I'm like, oh, this must be like the Donkey Kong Country Kart edition where you're on the final lap, but it's you going through the water. But no, it was really cool to hear how that came together and how you like come from. I mean, I love Iron Maiden. I've listened to like Judas Priest a lot. I got my like teeth cut on classic rock and metal, so I don't think that ever should go away. Even for a themed album like that. Was there any aspect of making the project that you think like surprised you? Like not just the genre, but like maybe how you wrote or recorded guitars or like worked on it?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing was that I realized I'm bad at writing drums.
Same as like every non-drummer clacking their best.
Like I started with just such like simple, safe drum lines that I was just like kept adding stuff and realizing listening to the final mix, I always make my drums way too quiet when I'm trying to play hard rock.
It's really cool that you can hear in Lockjaw now that you have like these giant titan monstrous like drums pounding, and then you still have the sing-songiness of your flutes, your lead guitar playing. It's a really cool balance. To keep things going, this is an hour-long album, but again, I want to thank you so much for letting me work with your track. Drew, of course, had such a great time himself learning about riffs, and he wanted me to, of course, share his sentiment that we're stupid proud of this album, and it would not be the same without your track.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. It was a blast, and your leads really added a lot too, so thanks for that.
No, happy to always harmonize. All right, let's get Anthony in here, and we're going to talk about Fear Factory. All right, once I figure out how to do that. Hello. Okay, hopefully you can hear me.
Hello?
Yeah, you're coming through.
I'm coming through. Cool.
You're coming through. Thank you so much for being on Konged Loose. You were among the many awesome people we have in Game Grooves who are just like, you know, creative with the topic of metal to where we knew like we got to have a Not Tony track in.
Hell yeah.
I accidentally realized I'm basically doing my Ro podcast format for this again. But yeah, let me start with.
This is my trick to get on the Ro podcast.
I know. Yeah, I mean, you don't need a trick at this point. Let's go with some different questions here. So Are there any influences that specifically like channeled or inspired you for your version of Fear Factory?
Man, I kind of just like, not gonna lie, this was so up my alley that I kind of just went with what
Yeah,
I.
I, mean, I was just like, you could default, and it is the genre.
I can just like list my normal like
Mm,
my normal inspirations, which is like Periphery, Dream Theater, BT
mm,
Bam, all the good stuff.
all the good
2010s
stuff.
metalcore.
Was there anything you think you did differently or like extra because of the nature of like the album and all? Or I realize that kind of puts Game Grooves on a pedestal. It's like, did you care more about our stuff than? But no, I mean, like, was there anything like you kind of did that you maybe wouldn't normally do for like a cover you're just getting out?
Yeah, I mean, I think I felt like I wanted to get weird with it,
Hmm.
and that's kind of where that crazy solo came from.
Hmm. With like
Was
the
just
sound
wanting,
design and like
yeah,
pedal
just
effects.
sound design stuff like pitch shifting, that kind of stuff.
Very cool.
Um, I can give a fun fact real quick about that
Please.
section. Is that originally there was rhythm guitar there because I
Ooh.
did the rhythm guitar first, and because I did rhythm guitars before bass, you can kind of hear like you can kind of hear what was the rhythm guitars in the bass. So that's just like a little thing you can listen out for.
It's kind of cool to see how people arranged, and Xander was saying like kind of rearranged, to like try and play in. When you get your second listen, you're like, maybe like I don't need this, or oh, someone else is doing
Yeah.
this, or it's cool. Now, when it comes to DK, did you grow up playing Country 64 or like Tropical Freeze, any of that, or do you have like a connection to any Donkey Kong games in particular?
I don't know why, but I've started 1 and 2 and like never beaten them. But
They're
like
very, very hard games.
they are hard, and I just like because I played them as a kid, I just like couldn't get through them, and I'm like, well, now I should actually play through them and
Yeah.
finish them. But I've always loved the music. I've always loved David Wise and Grant
Mhm.
Kirkhope stuff. So
Absolutely.
whenever there's Donkey Kong, I'm just like, yeah,
If you feel like it but don't want necessarily the painful grind, I recommend to you and to anyone, especially because it's on sale at Costco or something. Bonanza was honestly like a really fun
I,
playthrough.
I have been playing Bonanza.
Hmm. It's not like classic Donkey Kong, and it's maybe
Yeah,
almost super easy comparatively, but it's a beautiful game. I cried at the end. I don't know if anyone else in chat played Bonanza, but yeah, super fun game. Sadly, it they dropped stuff on Nintendo Music just too late for us to include it. But
yeah,
it would have been cool to hear like someone do, I don't know, like a Spirit Box take on like that. There's a credit song with vocals or something. I don't know.
true.
We could have
Yeah,
shoved it in. But nonetheless, super glad that you were able to join Kong Loose. Love, love, love your
of
track.
course.
It's always great to hear Fear Factory because I keep hearing it and it's like an EDM take, and now we have like a really cool prog
Yeah.
modern metalcore type of take.
Sick.
Super, super good.
I tried to listen to the band Fear Factory for inspiration, and I was like, this isn't gonna work, but it would have been funny.
A buddy of mine, 16 Mono, we actually did a Donkey Kong Country album, and one of the ideas he floated was Fear Factory, but it's Fear Factory.
Yeah.
But I don't have the brain power to do like that kind of almost grindy metal style.
Yeah, totally.
Any case, thanks again. Hopefully, we'll see you more in chat as we listen through
course.
the rest. And I'll start announcing our next tracks. All right. So now it's just me. I totally know how to stream, and we are just but a tiny little morsel in. So once again, thank you everyone who's come out. The album link is on Bandcamp where you can check it out. It is fully licensed, meaning that if you get it, we're supporting video game music. Also, if you get on Bandcamp instead of streaming, you're supporting only musicians and no one else, and nothing weird, which we love. So we super appreciate it. Game Grooves also has dozens and dozens of tracks from City Pop Pokemon to Emo Kingdom Hearts to EDM, Metroid, and more. We take stupid amounts of pride in all of our wacky mashups, and we're so happy for you all to join us. So, coming up next, and we're also going to get a wonderful interview, we've got Star City from Diddy Kong Racing. Yes, we're not just celebrating Donkey Kong Country, we're celebrating one of my favorite games of all time, Diddy Kong Racing, by the wonderful Thenikin. as well as Crystal Caves from Donkey Kong 64 by Celestial Fury, and Big Boss Blues by Iriku Atushi, and that's from Donkey Kong Country 3. Yes, enough people recognize how awesome the music in that game is. So we're gonna enjoy those three. And let me see if I've got a quick intro, and we'll get going.
Hello everyone, my name is Ronaldo, better known as Iriku. I provided Big Boss Blues for Game Groove's Kong Blues. What is a metal or prog album that I can't live without? So I would say that a metal or prog album that I can't live without would be Periphery's dual album Juggernaut Alpha and Omega. The reason that I can't live without this album is because it is the point in my musical journey where I discovered a side of progressive metal that I had never heard before. Periphery turned me to a side of metal that is quite different from what I used to listen. I used to listen to Metallica, Avenged Sevenfold, prog as a whole. I would listen to mostly Dream Theater. I wouldn't venture far from that. So listening to Periphery was a breath of fresh air, and it really changed my perspective on a lot of things, and it really inspired me as a composer to continue working on music. What is the most surprising thing about working on
Okay, the stupid bird is dead. We can go back to enjoying metal. All right. Thank you, everybody. Once again, you're listening to Konged Loose, a brand new 16-track album that comprises metalcore and modern progressive metal Donkey Kong arrangements. I have died 3 times. You know what? I'm going to bring in our next guest who performed and arranged Star City from Diddy Kong. So, Felipe, you're coming on right now.
Hello. Hello.
Hey.
Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Nice.
How's it going, neighbor?
All good. All good. A little cold though.
Oh yeah, it's been quite cold.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for joining the album and for joining the project. We just got to listen to your fantastic take on Diddy Kong Racing. I also died
Yeah.
3 times, so as punishment.
Oh,
as
you
a-
have to try that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that means I'm eating 2 with sriracha, which is delicious and not.
Sriracha is amazing though.
I love
So
sriracha.
good.
What do you have a favorite spicy food or spicy sauce flavor?
Well, I like sriracha, and here in Canada you get a lot of South Indian food, and
Yeah.
I really like it. I
Have
really
you
like
had
it. So good.
dosa?
Dosa. I'm not sure if I
Ooh.
try that.
So it's
Maybe should.
it's like a crepe, like flat pancake, but we fill it with
Oh,
potatoes and spices, onion. Very
nice. And well,
popular.
there's one that's from my country, which is Chile, and we call it merquén. It's
Merken.
kind of like a toasted paprika thing, and it's so good. You should
Okay.
try it sometime.
I would love to try that. I don't know if we have Chilean restaurants, but I know Vancouver is not far away and has quite a lot.
That's true.
Whew, okay. One of those sauces I made, and it's habanero. So yeah, it's a little hotter. But in any case, yeah, thank you so much for joining the project. My first question, what is your kind of relationship with Donkey Kong music? Do you have a favorite game, or, was it Diddy Kong
So
Racing, or?
I think I played a lot of them when I was a kid, especially 2 and 3. The
Hmm.
first one I didn't play it that much. 2 and 3 I played the most. And then one of my cousins got a 64, and we played a ton of Diddy Kong Racing. That's what that was my
Ah,
first choice, actually. First or second choice, I don't remember.
I think it
But
actually was your first.
I think it was my first choice. So I was really happy to do something Diddy Kong Racing related. I
Hmm.
saw the whole list that was available, and okay, I need to do Diddy Kong Racing.
No, that's awesome. And Xander, he was on earlier and mentioned he loves classic, 70s heavy metal and so on. So when we presented this modern, like 2020s, what did you do to make your track sound so good? And were there any challenges with arranging for this style?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I think my biggest influences right now, I think I'm more like 70s rock. Yeah,
Hmm.
and although that's very proggy, I like Bloister Cold, Kansas, Genesis. I love that kind
Hmm.
of stuff, and it can get really proggy,
Yes.
but it's not in the same fashion as like modern prog metal. I think one of the things that you mentioned when we were talking about the track
Yeah.
in the production stages was Periphery, and
Hmm.
I really like Periphery too.
Hmm.
So I went straight on, okay, let me check my favorite Periphery songs. I'm going to take things from there in terms of like influences. I
Hmm.
took some liberties with the chords, noodle around a little bit with the chords
Yeah.
until I got something I really liked. And another thing that I tried on this song that I haven't tried that much before was every time I was going back to the main loop or the main riff, I was trying, okay, in which ways can I transform this to make it interesting and new every time it come up again?
Ah, yes, yes. The changes were really cool, and I love the riff you wrote. The
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it plays into Scarlet a little bit, but you have your own style, which is really cool. I wanted to ask
yeah,
also, so for those who don't know, of course, you perform not only with recordings but live with a band, and you'll be
yeah,
performing very soon, no, at
yeah.
a
Next
bonus
week,
stage. Yeah.
yeah, next week. I'm
um,
flying to Vancouver on Saturday morning, and we're playing Saturday night in Vancouver. Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. I wanted to ask if playing in a band has given you ideas or inspiration that you can now bring for your covers, your arranging styles?
I will say definitely so. I think we're taking an approach now as a band where we are uh kind well we took it down in terms of like the scope of the music, in terms
Hmm.
of the instrumentation, because the first gig was mainly like auxiliary percussion for
Ah,
instead of
sure.
drums. So our drummer is playing cajon,
Hmm.
and just a cymbal, one cymbal, and that's all he has, and maybe
Wow.
some shakers and that kind of stuff. But and one of the things that came up the first time we played was like, it's not the first time you play metal with a cajon,
Oh, yes.
and it
Wow.
was like, yeah, but it kind of works. It kind of works. So
Wow.
for now, for this Vancouver show, we're also doing that setting. So we're having two guitars in that kind of low gainy kind of realm,
Hmm.
with a bass guitar too, and cajon with percussion, and it's working so great so far.
Wow. No, that's very cool. And of course, if anyone is in the area, definitely check that out. It's going to be a fantastic show. Obviously,
Yeah,
bonus stage is very special to me. They gave me my first performance for stream. Obviously, a lot of musicians, dancers, comedians, even. So, bonus
yeah.
stage ultimate looks amazing, and I'm very happy to see that you're getting to perform more live as well.
Thank
Um,
you very much.
Let's see. If you were to tell someone to join a Game Grooves album, based on your experience, what advice do you think you could give someone getting into these albums?
Well, I one of the things that I really love to do is just to find collaborators within
Hmm.
game groups to work with. This time around, I work with you, for example. You play the
Yes,
bass in this track. I
super
think we
fun.
forgot to mention that.
Oh yes, I'm supposed to be sharing all the credits, and I think I only forgot that one. But yes, I had a lot of fun with the bass lines. I used like you did for Periphery, so I did all of the nollie settings, the same bass. Um, Very fun rocking drive. Sorry, continue though.
Yeah, it's a great way just to make friends and find people that like the same things you do. And sometimes you find things working in tracks that you didn't record, so it's very instructional, educational anyways. So
Hmm.
it's a great thing to just collaborate with anyone you can find. Really.
Absolutely. Well, with that, thank you again for your contribution. We hope to see you
Thank you.
shred with Game Grooves more and more because it is such a pleasure. And
Of
have a
course.
great show. I don't know if I'll be able to make it, but I know I'm going to be watching it with the stream links and everything, and I'm sure it's going to be
Thank you.
awesome. Vancouver is such a great city.
Well, see you as soon as we can. Take care.
Absolutely. Take care.
Bye bye.
All right. So we are back to Just Row. And once again, thank you everyone who's popping in chat, listening to this album. Um, I'm going to probably, let's see, how many tracks do we have in our next batch? We have two short ones and then one long one. But because I'm in the area that my track plays, I'm going to introduce four. No. Let me see. We don't have any other guests for a little while, I believe. So, yes, I'm going to batch four tracks together, and I would like to introduce them. And for mine, I'll share something kind of special about just Donkey Kong and my relationship with the series, which hopefully will be interesting. So, first, coming up next, we have Ian Kell and Yusuf Kellybrew's Life in the Mines from Donkey Kong Country. We have, and you know what, I'll just flavor introduce some of these a little more. Life in the Mines, these two have humongous prolific experience in VGM. Ian Cowell's put on his own work and his own arrangements under his own name, as well as his Ian Cowell's exceptional band of goblins, of course, which I've even had the pleasure of playing with and seeing live several times. Yusuf Kellybrew's performed with all sorts of fantastic video game composers and artists. Will be, certainly performing yearly at Magfest at this rate on drums. So this track is really special. We're super lucky that it came in just in time, and I'm looking forward to that. We have Jay Trigger's Minecart Madness. Minecart Madness is a really, really great game or track from Donkey Kong Country 1. This has a lot of like tech death-esque influence, as well as just phenomenal 7-string prog. A lot of just frantic notes that I'm sure you're going to pick up on. They're really great. Coming up after that, we have Joe Calderon's Forced Interlude. Joe plays bass for the band Arch Echo, which were straight up an inspiration for this album. They're a great, phenomenal group of kind of half metal, half jazz players. They're all wicked talented. But Joe is also a composer, session musician, has played bass with some great cats, and I had the pleasure of playing guitar on his track. Super well arranged, and I reached out because I knew that he was also a passionate gamer, and I thought this would be a cool way to kind of hybridize us getting some folks who are more in tune with the prog metal side. Last, we have my track, Hothead Bop, which is, God, I hope it's Hothead Bop. I'm starting to think it's Hothead Hop. I don't know. Someone correct me in chat. This is the kind of stuff that we'll overlook. My track features just myself, but it's inspired by 2010s and, of course, 2020s progressive metal. So there's like double drop A flat, pitch shifting, a lot of guitar solos, thumping, selective picking, a lot of guitar solo ideas, crystalline clean kind of notes as well. Donkey Kong Country is one of the first games I ever owned and remembered owning. So the series means quite a lot to me from that regard. I grew up playing through the first levels. I probably died even more than you've seen tonight. So that's also a very big component of my love of Donkey Kong Country 1. But 2, of course, I adored because I thought Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong were siblings. So my sister and I would play it. And there's a photo of me, age 4, sitting on the kitchen counter playing Donkey Kong Country 2 as a kid. And over, I loved the music. When I got back into VGM, that was the first music I really clicked with. I've covered a lot of the music. I've even done a pirate metal album myself, blah, blah, blah. But this year was really special because my friend and video game composer, Carlos Eni, and I ended up kind of going to a convention where David Wise and Grant Kirkhope, both composers of the various Donkey Kong games, were at. And we had just such a wonderfully humbling experience hanging out and playing music with them live. We literally jammed to their tunes. And they know this because we said it several times. It was super fun, super unexpected, but it meant a lot to me that these people who had made the music for this franchise stayed so in love with it and connected with it, as well as its fans. And of course, me and Grant Kirkhope are guitar players. Carlos and David Wise were both sax players. That was one of my biggest influences for wanting to make this album so phenomenal. So with that, there's a lot of love, but we're going to get into more music. So let's get rid of that text that is totally inaccurate, and let's all check out the music while I potentially die some more. This is starting with Life in the Mines, right? Yes, why not? Alrighty. Let's get rid of you. Okay. That was a lot of music. I realized 4 songs all at once, while super fun and very logical. It is quite a lot of music too. Don't flag me. Okay. I think that is all the music videos that I need the browser for. So, thank you so much again for coming to the stream. If you're unfamiliar what's going on again, this is a listening party for Konged Loose by the Game Grooves label/music community. It is 16 tracks of Donkey Kong Country, 64, Diddy Kong Racing, etc., arranged for modern metal and progressive metal. I'm so happy to see so many friends here. I see Ten, Lowlander, Rusty, Mon, Angel, and Colby, and everybody. We're not just celebrating, of course, that we made an album thing. Also, I'm not streaming for myself, Pato. I see you requesting some collab or something. I don't know who the hell that is. But sorry, not planning on collabing on request. So, but we are listening to wonderful Donkey Kong music, so thank you so much for coming out. And we have hit a little bit further towards the back half of the album. So, once again, you listened to Ian Cowell and Yusuf Kelly Brews Life in the Mines from DKC1. Super jammy, super fun. And also brings like more of like a hard rock side. I think in discussion with Ian, the arrangement idea has like a lot of these really cool intervals and Pliny notes that I think are really, really cool to enjoy. On top of that, you have Jay Trigger's Minecart Madness with these like super frantic riffs, just unexpected turns everywhere, which is what makes, I think, progressive music so interesting and so like fun to enjoy listening to. And then, of course, we have Joe Calderon's Forced Interlude. A lot of love there. I feel like it's meta to say this, but Joe arranged a track much like his band with his own flavors for sure. And I locked in recording guitars for that because I knew I wanted that arrangement to just sing. So I think it was like 2 hours, 3 hours straight of me just sitting and tracking very carefully and making sure that like the vibes were there. One point that I saw both Mon brought up and Lowlander, this album isn't just 16 groups, bands, and albums. I don't think it was just like all of us going off into silos. And 1 second here, I want to make sure this should make me louder. Okay, good. Yeah, it was not just all of us working individually. I actually took on the majority of the tracks that sent in individual drums, bass, guitars, compiled them down, and I helped like massage some of these, edit, retime, or otherwise help get drums to sound more consistent. So this album would be one big compilation, even though, you know, many of us are sitting all over the country or even the world. So the production was really cool. We had like Get Good Drums, Periphery 5 kit triggering on top of some people's live triggering. And the bass sound for the majority is actually Joe Calderon's quad bass. It's a fantastic plugin. It gets you a lot of distortion, but also some really cool compression and EQing that I really like. So wanted to shout out that not only do we have a great arranger and performer and bassist, but plugin maker. And last, of course, Hothead Bop. I literally just put that track out in time for this stream. Like within 5 minutes, that music video got done. So I am absolutely humbled by the response, of course, and I really hope that people enjoy that. It's one of my favorite tracks and one of my favorite levels in the game, one of my favorite games of all time. And obviously, David Wise, you are one of my favorite composers. Now, it's weird to see like just the friendliness between some of these folks who have influenced us. So obviously, I love that your music can keep going on, David and Grant as well as I believe Evelyn Fisher, who also contributed to 3. So yeah, all that's to say, keep it up. Please keep popping into Game Grooves if you're part of us. If you just like the music, remember so much love goes into all these tracks, and we're not even done yet. We still have some more. So let me introduce a couple more tracks coming up here. I think we'll do 3. These are really short and sweet. So this next 3 set's really cool. First of all, we're going to start off with a Donkey Kong Country 3 track. Also, I know you can probably see in the corner my my Super Nintendo and nothing else has like a weird pause. I paused right in the middle of a cannon spin. I will probably die. Also, if you don't know, every time I die, I'm eating a spiced up banana here. And I'm getting distracted with the comments being so positive. So maybe if you keep commenting and cheering each other on, I'll end up dying more. But I died once. So I'm going to eat another trombone sauce. This is my own fermented habanero sauce I made. And it is pretty darn spicy. But it's very delicious. So I'm kind of relieved. This is literally one of the first video games I ever owned and played. So how's it tasting with hot sauce? Delicious. So the reason why I even am doing this weird banana thing, besides, monkeys, gorilla, is I used to get like a sleepy time food urge, and I got a banana and put sriracha on it, and it was delicious. It's got like a little sweet, a little spicy. It's popular in tropical places to mix plantains with savory, so why not? But yeah, where was I going? Oh, does this mean we should get Ro to play a Soulsborne game? Here's the thing. I'm not like very interested in dark gothic fantasy. I already don't like medieval like JRPGs being the only aesthetic that you see on average. So that said, I did play through Elden Ring co-op with Colby, and that made it very fun just because of the camaraderie of it all. And I started to like really appreciate it more. But I would not cross dying in a Soulsborne game with spicy challenges because that would murder me. Hey, love to you as well, Ian. So glad you were on this track and that you could contribute your specific like flavor of just rock and prog to this thing. Anyway, we're going to keep going with more music. So introducing the next track we're going to listen to is by my buddy, my bass player, Max Sandler. It's Nuts and Bolts. It's a fantastic DKC3 track that's got a lot of prog and just a lot of really cool flavor there. So do look forward to that. I got to play guitar in that as well. And then we have Audio Mocha's Mad Jack from DK64. It's one of our only Donkey Kong 64 tracks, as well as Crystal Caves. It's got a lot of punk flavor. I call it the closest this album gets to Knocked Loose. And Audio Mocha, while is very known for like surf punk and surf rock, this track really flexes his range. It's got a lot of like metalcore taste to it, and it's really chuggy, really scary, very cool. And then we're going to close out with Legend Dave's Run Rambi Run from Donkey Kong Country 2. Run Rambi Run's really fun. It's got a lot of fast, sort of frantic and unexpected turns because especially it's got the math rock background that Legend Dave has as well. So I think you'll all enjoy that music quite a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to play all of these. I don't believe we have music videos for any of these three, so I'm going to quickly pop these. I realize I'm also failing with the text, so if anyone wonders what these songs are, just pull up the album list if you don't mind, or otherwise just shout it out in chat. Let's get back to wherever I left myself in Donkey Kong, and thank you again, every single one of you, for coming by. And if you're enjoying this, follow Game Grooves. If you're not, and hey, keep this Saturday fun going. This is Nuts and Bolts. Alrighty. I know everyone's staring like, how did he not die in that round? But you see, I cannot be killed. You just listened to Max Sandler's Nuts and Bolts from DKC3, Audio Mocha's Mad Jack from Donkey Kong 64, and Legend Dave's Run Ramby Run from DKC 2. And yeah, just since I think we had a few of these folks in chat, I don't know if anyone's popping in for that one, although we have already friends lined up for our next listen through. I'm like mentally doing some math in my head. I'll probably just do one, and then we'll bring on the next person since they're already here. Oh, wait. Let's see who's popping in. Okay, cool. So we're going to do a one listen, and then we'll finish the album off with the last two tracks there. But let me brag about these three. So first of all, Max Sandler, again, phenomenal musician, sound designer as well, and the bassist for the Ro Panuganti PROG experience. So I was very hopeful that Max, being a lover of all sorts of music, but PROG especially, could contribute to a group album again with a lot of fun going on. And Max is a passionate fan of DKC3. Which was super, super underrated and thankfully represented on our album, at least a little bit. So I loved hearing some of their influences, I believe like Porcupine Tree and like some of these unexpected, twangy, like eerie spots that play really well into a warehouse sort of level. I've actually tried to give way more tries to DKC3 thanks to that. So that was super fun. And obviously playing guitar with Max before, I knew kind of maybe what areas would work. And ended up going for like a little bit of Dream Theater-y riffage, but a lot of like thump and ideas that I thought would play well. And the end result is just really, really cool to hear. Audio Mocha's Mad Jack, I was so impressed to hear that Mocha wanted to be on this album, having like definitely worked with metal. I mean, we've talked about 8-string tones all the time. So really cool arrangement. It started out with like maybe more of this 2000s rock metal sort of flair, and we kind of collaborated, arranged some ideas to like add in the opening, which I'll talk to Drew later, but I think I originally had like one effect idea, and I don't know if I rendered it properly. But there's like a really cool transformation you can see. A lot of these tracks, as Xander mentioned, a lot of people mentioned, their demo started one way, and as they got like more feedback from the chats and like adjusted and made it more and more modern and weird and wild, it became what you hear now, which is really cool. It still has like a punk feel to the song though, for sure. And then finishing off with Legend Dave's Run Ramby Run, you have like really cool bass tone coming out. Davey is a phenomenal bassist, and the arrangement really takes advantage of that. So you have like some really cool transformative arranging stuff going on there. So yeah, I'm really happy with how those three turned out, especially because they all have different pockets. Legend Dave being from the Game Lark days, one of our kind of former proto Game Grooves groups. With that in mind, you're going to hear a lot of musicians here who have never gotten to be on a big compilation, and you're going to hear people who have been and are just looking to make their next best thing. We wanted everyone to like walk in here, as Drew's saying in chat, eager, retain their style, but also put in like work to where what they make for Konged Loose could be their very personal best or like their most outrageous in some way while retaining true to their vibe, which is a hard walk to dance. We don't want to like get our hands all messy and ruin people's music. We wanted them to shine, but also give everyone agency, which is a really hard dance to do, and we're still learning. With that, I'm going to play one track next, once I smartly pull it up in my browser. And then we're going to talk to two people who performed and arranged and guitared and did amazing things. Actually, do I have the file here? Okay. And then we're going to talk to them, and then we're going to close out the album, and we're going to see if I die through any of this. It is very unlikely. And then I'll just down one more banana, because who wants to waste bananas? So coming up next, we have the iconic Gangplank Galleon from Donkey Kong Country. Oh God, I think 1, but it's also in 2 technically, by our very own progressive metal BGM band, Premium Vintage. check it out. All right, let's bring them in because I know how to do that. All righty. That was Premium Vintage's take on Gangplank Galleon. And here to chat about it, we have both Mark and Angel from Premium Vintage. And spiritually, I'm sure we have Carrie.
Yes, Carrie had a conflict, so we will represent. There's a little bit of a funny story about Carrie's involvement in this track, so I will do my best to channel.
I'd like you to, yeah. Let's start with there.
So I might defer to Angel a little bit on this, but it was Carrie's idea for us to do this track, and my philosophy is that there's so much talent in this trio that we can't box ourselves into doing Hades tunes all the time, so we should branch out a little bit. And I proposed doing a rendition of this song, and then Angel came up with an idea, which I think we latched onto.
Ah.
So I'm gonna let Angel talk about that.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? Why don't we do it in the style of like Devin Townsend Project, and specifically the song Jeweler from his Deconstruction album.
Mm.
The drums were so insane, and I felt like it was like Mark's idea for this would have like matched and fit really well. So that was kind of the goal, and that's hence the crazy drums. But yeah, that was kind of the idea.
Yeah, and then where Carrie, where this, you might have saw what she was saying on social media yesterday, or maybe even the day before.
Yeah, who was
She
Devin
was like,
Townsend?
"Who the hell is Devin Townsend?" And she didn't say anything to either of us about that. Like,
Mm-mm.
and I think that's amazing because like she
Mm.
kind of came into it with like almost no context, but
Right. It's just, Mark arranging or whatever as usual.
yeah, and and this even dates back to when the band formed.
Mm.
Like when we were forming the band, uh, I asked Carrie if she wanted to join the band because she could play bass and she can do orchestral arranging, and she's like, I don't really
Mm.
play metal. I was like, yeah, you can play metal. You just don't know
Mm.
it. So then like she kind of jokingly says like, I have no idea who Devin Townsend is. I'm not a metal person. It's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like
Mm.
you know what you're doing, and she played the galloping bass line through this
Mhm.
entire rendition, which was absolutely necessary. So hopefully I did Carrie justice, even though she's not here. But yeah, I thought that was
Yeah.
just kind of funny, where it was like Devin Townsend, I have no idea who that is, and then I'm just like playing like really dissonant power chords just to make it
Mm.
work. It worked, I think.
I loved getting to. I mean, so I talked to you pretty much throughout the entirety of this track's contribution, and since there weren't any other bands besides Ian and Yusuf, I didn't get to like kind of see how people would take the influences and the arrangements that way. But it was great to have like the collaborations of it all. So when you shared like, hey, like this is how we're going to pitch a Konged Loose track, when the prompt is this very upsettingly like technical modern like, and Angel knows, of course, he played PROG XP stuff, and we took advantage of his wizardry. I still think about the Castlevania thing, but yeah, coming into a Konged Loose album, besides the arrangement part, did you kind of feel any like notable differences in how you would arrange for premium vintages, Hades material and stuff, and this album specifically? Like, was there anything you're like, let's experiment this way because we wouldn't get to do it in Hades?
Yeah, so I mean, Angel can jump in here, but I will shamelessly admit that this is probably one of the few times we've done a song in 4/4, which
Yeah.
we've done a few
Interesting.
times, but I've listened to
Hmm.
everybody else's track, and it's like I can't. I mean, I'm not a drummer like Angel is, so he can probably pick up on time signatures like
It's
that.
all 4/4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all 4/4 if you don't count. Like the lyrics, right?
If you're,
So,
yeah.
yeah, but then like this song was a straight 4/4 throughout, and then like usually, well, I mean, I would say usually because like with premium vintages,
Hmm.
Hades material, Darren's music is just inherently alternating time signatures and some craziness. So
Progressive.
we just kind of follow him. But
Hmm.
then like when we worked on this track, I was like, do we want to like make this weird? I was like, no, let's just do 4/4.
Hmm.
So it's almost like we're doing the opposite of what you're asking.
Sure.
But then again, I think it more like the fact that and like you got that video of Angel playing the drums for this
Yeah,
song.
the blast beats in the intro.
Yeah.
Please post that at some point. But like his
Yeah.
drum this was absolutely insane. And
I
yeah,
loved getting one of the nice things I got to do, of course, I described earlier, is I would take all of the tracks pretty much, save a couple that Drew would do directly, and then I would do a pass through and hand it to Drew, meaning I got to like see all of the music and all of the thought processes, and obviously like I got to work with you, Mark, and like everything sounds so cool, and it also shatters a little bit of that like I wonder what goes into the music. So obviously I got your guitar tracks, and you had like very cool effects going on from your Sustainiac, I think. Is it a Sustainiac or an Ebo?
It's a Sustainiac. For like the
Hmm.
first few songs, the first album we did, it was an Ebo, but then I was like, oh, a Sustainiac exists.
It's
So
just
like,
in
I'm gonna
there. For
throw it
those who
away.
don't know, could you describe that and like any of the effects you got to use as a guitarist?
Yeah, well, actually, I have my Ebo right here. So this basically gives you infinite sustain by generating a magnetic field around your guitar.
Oop, I think you cut out.
You hold down over your pickup where you normally would pick, but then a Sustainiac does the same exact thing. It's built within the pickup itself, and that just does it natively. So yeah,
You held
I have this Ebo, and like I don't really use it that much these days because I have a guitar with a Sustainiac.
you held the Ebo near the mic and you cut out for a little bit, and I think Rusty was joking that your Ebo cut out too many magnets.
Oh.
But yeah, no, it's a really cool effect that you hear with those long sustained notes, and it gets you a little harmonic color. And of course, the ending, you have really nice wah pedal kind of coming in. It feels like you're bringing metalcore and like some of the even like 90s hard rock side, and it gives an experimental edge. On the flip side, Angel, I got your stems, which were immaculate. I mixed a lot of people who've tracked acoustic drums this year and last year, just in general. And one thing people, of course, may not know is like there are a lot of ways you can fix drums and move things and cut them around. You don't need to when you're that razor tight. What is your process like for tracking something like this? Do you just do it in sections, or do you just try to get good pass today and then tomorrow I'll try it again? Or
Well, so about that, well, first of all, thank you. I typically try to break the song up if I can. If there's like a break, I'll try to like cut the song in halves or three parts, or wherever there's a break, I'll kind of like focus on the first part, get that done, middle part. With this song, I couldn't do that. There were no breaks. So luckily, and the funny thing too is that, you know, for whatever reason, I didn't see that Mark and Carrie were waiting on my drums for a while in Discord. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even see the messages. So it was like the day of that Carrie's like, hey, where are the drums, dude? And I'm like, oh my God. So I rushed to the studio. I hadn't heard the song yet. I rushed to the studio, played through the song a few times, did a few takes, and I wasn't really happy with it. But luckily the song was short enough that I could kind of like, I think I did 4 or 5 takes and was able to kind of like knock it out. And I think it helps too that like I do a lot of session work, so I'm usually typically kind of warmed up, and that does help a lot. Where before I did session work, it was like a lot of breaks in between recording, and you have to like warm up again and kind of get your groove going. Yeah, I had to do this one in one take, and it was tricky, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
it's really cool to hear. And you are one of two or three tracks on the whole project that are live track drums. So I had like pressure of making sure, you know, this track sounds good, but also every other track needs to live up to the same kind of cohesiveness. So hopefully you enjoyed some of like the processing there. There's like a couple moments during the really cool verse where you have the ba-da-ba-da-dum, ba-da-ba-da.
Yeah.
Those are all extra like drum snare shots, because now I know more than ever what it sounds like if you go to a premium vintage show, or if I get to play with you. You want to have people just like hit right in the chest.
Oh yeah, no, I was, and I'm sure the rest of the band felt the same way. Like I was so happy with the production that you guys did on this album. Everything sounds phenomenal. Our song, everybody else's track. So shout out to you guys for making it sound as good as it is. I loved it. I was so happy with how it came out. Seriously.
Yeah, I have to pile on that by saying that, like, I mean, as a guitarist, like, I just focus on guitar, like, almost all the time. But, like, the drum mix in every single one of these tracks is incredible. And I will be hitting you guys up on, like, what did you guys do? Because I'm going to steal some of that shit.
So I'm going to capitalize on that, Mark, because, yeah, Drew and I talked about what we wanted everyone to, like, react. We wanted this impression so damn badly from everybody, because we know what it's like to be you. I mean, before Premium Vintage, like, as just Mon, and, like, your expectations for what your music sounds like are always going to be, like, really high, so that you can just love it to death. And I know I don't hand my keys easily, you know? So when working with Drew, I'm like, okay, I can hand my keys to you. Here are all my influences. Here's all of my, like, favorite mixes, like listen to Periphery 3's Catch Fire 100 times for me and then get that. Like, so in that, I worked with obviously a lot of the tracks, specifically for Premium Vintage, this one. Quad bass on Carrie's bass, and like I think you already amped yours, which was easy. But we're hoping to share a lot of like the projects so that we can not only say like here's what we did to make it good, but also like, this is what we did. Maybe we should do something else in the future. What's your feedback? Because we want to keep people able to like learn and celebrate like getting better and better. You know, for KONGED Loose 2 or something, or I don't know. Next year, it sounded like a lot of people wanted another Game Grooves metal track or metal album. Maybe we'll get one. We have to think of a good pun. But with that, I'm super happy that your band was able to be on this. It makes it just really cool to share. I don't know if you have plans to play this one live, but
I think that depends on Angel mostly.
Yeah. No,
I think
yeah.
no, actually,
foot massages and like
Yeah.
ice bath
Yeah,
after.
that section, like the folksy
Cool.
section.
Oh,
like
sure, yeah.
around 3 minutes. Like I don't know if I can play that live. Like I had to track that a lot. It took a lot of practice to get that down. But then that's only my part, and yeah, I think it's mostly dependent on if Angel said, yeah, I could do this. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna learn this part.
Lock in.
Yeah.
Part. I will lock in and make this happen. So
It's a
and I'm sure-
fantastic.
I will speak for Carrie. She would agree.
One of the last things I'll say, and then we'll get to our last two tracks here, is you can hear in your track, and I think in just 2 or 3 other tracks, the people who played with bands or arranged kind of with a band mindset, they do really cool finishes. And I think Forest Interlude ends that way, and Joe, of course, being an Arch Echo, and Premium Vintage's track, of course, ends with this big, bloody, like rock and roll finish. Having gotten to see y'all at MAG and knowing like that's the fun part of rock and roll that you brought up, you can hear it in the track, and I think it's something everyone should consider playing around with, like big, lively kind of moments. So yeah, I thank you again for joining and chatting, and of course contributing to another Game Groups project. I really hope that we get another chance to cross paths. And yeah, hit Drew and me up. We'd love to go over what we did and what we can do in the future and all.
Yeah, we'll let the dust settle. I'm gonna hit you guys up. I'm like, how did he get those drum sounds? And then you're gonna hear those. You're gonna hear like similar drum
For the rest.
production tricks in Premium Vintage releases. But that's how this works. So
Absolutely. All right, take care, and we'll get back to some music.
all right, yeah, killer
See ya.
work to you and Drew and just everybody. Thank you.
Thank you both. All
See ya.
righty. So, thank you everyone who stuck around. We're at the near end of our album here. So I'd like to introduce both of these tracks. I don't know, because we have Rusty in chat. I don't know if you'd like to join our OBS Ninja and get in on the chatting, but nonetheless, I'd like to quickly introduce these last 2 tracks because they are phenomenal. They are jaw droppers, and they are both iconic songs, much like, the whole album. So, the first track is by Marvin, or MDXD. It is the iconic Stickerbush Symphony from Donkey Kong. I don't think I'm going to get there in my playthrough, but I'm close. We'll see. And you know what? Just in good faith, and to not waste bananas, I'm going to down... what is this? Oh, this is Chairman Meow. This is Scorpion Pepper. And Allison put a lot on these. I'm not like cheating at all. Okay, that's not too bad. So yeah, Stickerbush Symphony, it's a very long track, but it's got post rock, it's got like post metal, math rock, and of course modern prog all over it. Really, really, really big shout out. One of the biggest ones I could give to Marvin. Marvin worked on this track after I reached out. Marvin's worked on a lot of great community albums, including Game Grooves and Game Lark. He injured himself and actually cut his hand, so he was unable to play lead guitars, but performed and edited and mixed, and pre-processed so much of this album, despite all of that. So I want to give a humongous shout out and thanks for him to be able to be a part of this. That was really awesome. I got to play lead guitars to fill out some of this, and he still did a great job rearranging it, giving me notes. Like, we worked on this to make it wonderful. Following that, We have Rusty Powers' Aquatic Ambience featuring Markov Soroka. I want to say Markov Soroka is assisting on drums, and please correct me if I'm wrong, drum programming. But this is our closer, Aquatic Ambience. Rusty has a fantastic background in a lot of music styles that are very adjacent to modern metal and progressive metal, including black metal and doom metal especially. And these styles are really, really cool. They're not necessarily things I know about, but they bring a lot of flavor when it comes to production. So my first instinct was to see if Rusty would get in on like Thal and some of these other like slow moving but more modern-y, genty sided music styles, and the result is just incredibly creative. There is some of the coolest guitar design on this album in those guitars. So as you listen to Aquatic Ambience, I want you to picture like a King K. Rool funeral, and just like a sludging, moving mass, blackened boom. I need to find like a monkey gorilla pun to describe your track, but nonetheless, I want the music to speak for itself, and I'm going to get back to playing some games. So, for Konged Loose, again, thank you all for participating, for listening, enjoying, having fun. Maybe some of you have drinks or playing a game on the side. I really appreciate it. Drew and I both really put so much love into this, and really hope that everyone got something out of it. Let's play some video games. Alrighty. With that, we have Konged Loose. I died a lot, but right towards the end of Aquatic Ambience, I made it to the end of that very annoying level. And we have Rusty Powers here. Thank you so much for your contribution. That I feel like it's been in the works for a long time. The idea to do Aquatic Ambience like black metal for a game groups thing.
Yeah, I mean, Funeral Doom as a genre just seemed like the perfect kind of thing. And Markov, the collaborator, which you're absolutely right, did some of the drone programming and actually sequenced that 3/4 ending, that outro.
Ooh, okay.
But yeah, Markov has a project called Drown, which is an aquatic funeral doom band. So it seemed really appropriate. So we've been kicking around this idea for years.
God, we're lucky then because yeah, like I mentioned, like Konged Loose was this funny idea of DK metal that Alan had thrown out years ago, and I always thought it was a good idea, but I did not know when DK would be popular. And then Bonanza came out, and then I was like, knocked loose, but like Donkey Kong, and then the name was just too good not to. So
Yeah, and what a record, dude! Holy shit.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and everyone brought it. Everyone brought something like new. I feel like I know basically everyone who's on this project from at least one other thing. So it was really cool to see that people brought something new. So like my first question for you, obviously you're a seasoned veteran of metal, but when you saw the prompt, not just DK metal, but like modern, kind of what went through your head as you figured out what you wanted to do?
Yeah, so I mean, I started going in like a kind of an atmospheric black metal kind of
Hmm.
realm, right? With like a touch of death metal and a touch of doom. Um, for me personally, the kind of the intersection I think of subgenres in metal is the fast tempos of black metal plus the slow like drone of doom. So putting those together
Ah,
is what I do in most of my projects anyway. And so aquatic ambience seemed like the perfect foil for that, because it's inherently slow and um it's kind of hypnotizing in a way, you know?
yeah.
Um I mean, that's like the one Donkey Kong song that I think I listen to the most. And during a average work week, like putting it on for 10 hours on YouTube is like not out of the
Yeah.
realm of possibilities. So yeah, so I wanted it to be kind of meditative, kind of drony, but also at the same time, hit as hard as it possibly could. And then trying to fuse more of the modern metal sensibilities. I come from a metalcore and a mathcore background, so it's
Okay.
nice to kind of lean into that a little bit. That wasn't necessarily like my first draft of all of this, but
Right.
yeah, no, it was really cool, and like exploring some fall sensibilities, getting a whammy pedal and going ham on it, like
I
yeah.
wanted to talk about that too. Like, you can hear a little bit of the effects, but how did you like sprinkling that in?
I think it's awesome. I mean, that's a lot of like what Frontier or obviously Humanity's Last Breath.
Yeah, yeah,
A lot of like the chaotic hardcore bands that I really like.
yeah.
Use it, and so I've never really explored too much of it. It was a sound that I've always been a fan of, and so to be able to introduce that, but like do it tastefully where it's not every time, because I think if you
Yeah.
do something every time, like it loses that special quality to it. So yeah, sprinkling that in and um
Oh,
kind of
I'm
like a
supposed to
happy
be eating all
accident.
this hot stuff. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
get bombed, my dude.
yeah, I've got
Um
two sauces and then the bomb, but keep going.
Nice. Yeah, so it was really interesting, in the original composition, the original song for Aquatic Ambience, there are these like oh, they're almost like the audio equivalent of like a shooting star, right? Like this high pitched thing, and it just kind of
Yeah,
like
the
bombs a little bit.
and then it goes back to the.
Yeah, and so being able to actually do that, not digitally was really, really cool. And just,
Hmm.
being able to like use the pedal as an instrument
What
was
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 kind of
awesome.
fun is as we were working on Konged Loose, the Thal plugin by Buster Odahome did drop. And I felt like that was kind of a funny timing because it did lend itself really well to those sprinkles. It has like a lot of pitch. It has
Yeah,
a DI tone match, which I think is actually the number one thing we need out of
it's
a plugin.
bonkers. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when I was looking for like more modern metal, I use Neural DSP through this entire thing, but
Sure.
yeah, kind of looking into it and like, oh yeah, let's add some like low octaves. You're gonna die.
I've done
Yeah,
this
look at
before.
I know, not your first rodeo. But yeah, so looking to like some lower octaves, and I just did some brief searching, and then somehow stumbled upon that plugin, and that was an instant buy, and it is now a part of like everything that I'm recording at home. It's incredible.
It's something I honestly want to pick up because of just like my take, of course, is like buy an amp plugin and make music. Don't wait. But also if it inspires you, that's beautiful. Like that plugin did. Oh shoot. I was gonna have something really cool and meaningful. Oh yeah. Someone who maybe hasn't gotten to hear what Rusty Powers is made of, and they hear Aquatic Ambience and they're like, this is awesome. What kind of like 3 bands to get to know me, or to get to know this track, could you
Ooh.
recommend?
Yeah. I mean, I would say overwhelmingly, I think so. So my main influences for this, they started with atmospheric black metal, as I mentioned. One of my favorite bands of all time is Altar of Plagues, and I think they
Ooh.
kind of thread this needle really, really nicely. And it's kind of an intersection of industrial, drone, black metal, doom, um, mostly black metal. Unfortunately, they broke up 10 years ago, which
Aw.
sucks, but whatever.
Their music's still
Band,
out there.
yeah, the band is incredible. Teeth, Injury, and Glory is a record to check out from them for sure. And then I would say, yeah, like Knocked to Loose, Harm's Way, Leached. Like those bands definitely informed kind of the tones that I was searching for. And then yeah, like Negativa or Uvia, which is more like slow black metal. I think black metal is at its best when it doesn't have blast beats the entire time, and so it's neat to
I've definitely listened to
listen.
Uvia.
Yeah, hell yeah. So yeah, I would say like those probably more than anything. But I mean, you live in the Pacific Northwest now, and you know that like
Yeah.
every heavy band that like lives here, all of our songs are 10 minutes, and they're drenched in reverb. It's just heavy and punishing like through and through. So yeah, try to bring that kind of Cascadian sound to this as well.
It was probably the easiest. When you sent me your first like drafts of like, hey, I'm working on this. Here's like the textures or tones or something. It was so obvious we were gonna end the album with that, because I think it also represents like Welcome to Crocodile Island is very much like a really cool, like, got metalcore, a little bit of the gentiness. And then as you listen through, you're kind of going through the motions of like other kind of music. And I think of Thal and black metal even, and the deathcore and tech death, and half the people watching are just like, why are there so many damn genre names? Like, you're just
There's a
metal
million
to
of them.
me. But yeah, I think it showcases the color. That people can get really into specific kinds of textures and flavors, and like me, I love leadiness and melodic like shredderies. Whereas some people like get really down and dirty into like riffs, and so that was really special to me. Getting to like the game aspect, of course. This is not your first video game foray at all, and I know that you have a passion point for music and games. Do you have anything passionate from Donkey Kong, or like a favorite Donkey Kong game? Or
So I was a Sega kid growing up. I didn't have a
this
Super
interview's
Nintendo
over.
until
Just
I'm so
kidding.
sorry. But
That's all
listen,
right.
listen.
Yeah.
I got N64 and I got Smash Brothers. And so
Oh,
that was
yeah.
my introduction really to Donkey Kong. Like friends had Donkey Kong Country, and that was cool. I did ultimately play the first Donkey Kong Country years later, I think in my 20s. And yeah,
Okay.
I mean it's awesome. I love a good platformer. I think it just exudes so much style. I think the new one is probably the reason to buy a Switch 2, and I'm sure I will, like in the next 6 months, and probably devour that game as well. Um, but yeah, I grew up a Sonic kid. Don't hate me.
No, fair enough. Honestly, it's kind of nice that like I missed the boat on people being rivals for a while,
Yeah,
because
I know.
like my first console was a SNES, and I did not know a soul who had played Sonic. I just thought he was a cartoon character on TV, from
Nice.
the Jaleel Whites and eventually the Sonic X and stuff. But it's always cool to see like some people just straight up didn't play Donkey Kong. They just loved making music, and this was like a unique challenge. And then other people, of course, fell in love with the character like that. All right, my
Yeah.
last question, since you're, of course, our last, and we're closing out our stream. Uh, 3 game series or games that you think Game Grooves could do a really cool metal project next with.
Half-Life is the number one. Not just because it's my favorite game of all time, and because Half-Life 3 is coming next year. Quote me on this.
I will literally. I'm writing this down. Everyone, write this down. You can't just say stuff like that.
Yeah, no,
11,
not that I
15.
have any insider information whatsoever. It's just what I choose to believe.
Okay.
But yeah, so Half-Life I think lends itself really nicely. You know, Markov and I did a cover of Triage at Dawn.
Yes.
It's
the first
a long
cover
time
I've
ago.
seen of you, I think.
Yeah, that was the first one that we put out together. Also, Markov and I are in a band called Chernobog, and Chernobog opened this, and then Chernobog in a way kind of closed it also, which is fun.
that's clever.
But yeah, in any event, so I would say Half-Life first, and then we need more Hollow Knight and Silksong representation. You and I already talked about this, so this is obvious. And then I think lastly, oh man, I really want.
Allie's definitely down for the Hollow Knight stuff because
I love that. Yeah,
I've done one cover before I even touched the game, and for the longest time, it was my most viewed. And I just was like, "They're fans of this." I mean, like, it's brilliant, but
it's just iconic, and just like the entire both soundtracks are just gorgeous, And I think there's kind of this melancholy quality to those games. They're incredibly somber, just like the Souls, like the Dark Souls
Metroidvania and Souls like influence.
Yeah, so I mean, you can take that and then you can make it as heavy as you possibly want it to be, right? So I would say, yeah, Hollow Knight and Silksong as like a side A, side B of some double awesome album would be really cool. And the last thing that I will suggest as well, I think that we should probably go for, oh man, yeah, it's tough to say.
It's tough to say just one as well, but
so The Binding of Isaac is one of my favorite games of all time, right? And I know that it's already metal, but like we could do so much with it too,
Quite a lot. I know historically that game has like some history turns, but like the original music, of course, was the first or second soundtrack I had heard from Danny, and huge fan, wonderful man. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree that series in general, and honestly, like you named 2 indies and one deep cut if you're under like 30, I guess.
Right.
Game. These are great picks. On the Half-Life thing, I got to meet some folks from Valve at Game SoundCon, which reminded me that I need to beat Half-Life Alyx, even though I get queasy so easily in that thing. Because I played through 2 in that whole binge like many years ago, and I'm a huge fan of like Left 4 Dead, of course, and Team Fortress 2, and just Half-Life in general is such a brilliant sci-fi thing to be like tabled. But I don't think it'll be tabled for long, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's okay. I don't want to turn this into HL3 like speculation. They announced this new console thing.
The Steam Machine, the Steam Frame, the Steam Controller. Yeah, and it came out of nowhere too, and there isn't a price for it. You can't even really like wish list it yet. What even is all of this? And the idea that you can play non-VR games with a VR headset, and they built it around for that. So they need a killer app for it. It's got to be Half-Life. It always will be.
Has it really?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Angel, like you know, dude. Yeah.
I'm down for it. I think those characters are brilliant. I think Alex Vance is like maybe one of my favorite like protagonists, especially after episode 2. I highly recommend anybody who's just like, what is PC gaming?
This is it.
Yeah, Half-Life 2, episode 1 and episode 2 should be like, brilliant.
They run on anything too.
Yeah, you could probably pull out a calculator or like your phone now and play them. I mean, don't, but
people have definitely modded it to play on phones, so you could definitely do that. I will say really quick, Half-Life Alyx has a mod where you can play it not in VR, and if you just want to get through the story and not get motion sickness, you really should, because the end of that game is incredible.
I played through half of it and I got queasy, but I was just like, no, this is brilliant. I love it, and I'm gonna. So knowing that there's a mod now, I will probably finish that.
Nice.
ASAP. It's brilliant. With that, thank you, Rusty, for again contribution, chatting, bring a little bit of your flavor of metal, especially to our community and this album. It's really cool. I think it sparked up a lot of new faces, old faces to work together. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really proud of it.
Well, yeah. Again, thanks to you and Drew and everybody else that contributed to this record. It's fucking incredible. Really looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely.
Whatever that is, and it should be Half-Life.
Noted. Well, see,
Nice.
all you have to do, come up with the pun, come up with the album title, and we work backwards from there. I think I whispered to you one. I won't say it in case we actually do that one, but
Mhm.
yeah,
for
it'd be
sure.
pretty cool.
All right, so it's going to be Half Strife, and it's going to be a beatdown hardcore
You were supposed to
Half-Life cover
wait.
album.
Oh, now we have to do it.
I know. See, I
Half
will it
Strife.
into existence.
I love it. I love it.
All right.
But thank you again. All right.
Yeah.
Let's close out the stream. So thank you again, Rusty. And all right, with everyone there, I know we just have pretty much the artists that were on here and a couple other friends. So thank you again. If you have not checked out the album, it's fully licensed, so your contribution pays real artists and real composers. If you stream it, that's okay too, but of course, doesn't fund nice things, but Bandcamp does. So anyway, we really appreciate it. Again, Drew and I directed this album together. It was a really unique scenario of wanting just a celebration because we both love metal. We both love metalcore, and I love progressive modern metal and crazy stuff. And we wanted this to be an album where everyone who was on it felt like they did something better due to it. They felt like they elevated their mix game, their guitar game, their editing, their collaboration skills, and just getting used to it, or tried something from a series that they hadn't heard of. That's what's most important to me. So I know a lot of people may note that we had our hands in a lot of tracks, or I played quite a lot of instruments on this, but at the same time, I have to thank everyone who let us cross over, be it playing guitar or helping mix, or just pointing out, hey, you should work with so and so. They played this, or you could try doing this. I even handpicked a couple arrangement suggestions. I know, like Mad Jack, I think, was one, and Forced Interlude. So if you enjoyed this album, being on it or otherwise, do check it out, share it. It helps a lot. But more importantly, keep it up, chat. And if I worked on your track, hit me up. I'm happy to explain what I did, what I should have done, and otherwise. Everyone have a great, safe night. Check out DK Bonanza. It's like $40 at Costco if you're a member, which I definitely recommend being a member if you shop in bulk. And otherwise, yeah, everyone have a great night. We're going to make more metal. And if you preferred this streaming medium of YouTube, let us know as well. We're kind of going back and forth between Twitch and YouTube. And this is my channel, of course. And with that, of course, my music video for Hothead Bop did drop as well. So we're going to be compiling all the music videos from this whole album there. So take care. I'm going to go play